you're allowed to grieve and still be grateful. I'm going through that. And as a matter of fact, I go through that a lot. Like, I'm so grateful to God and just how far He's brought me and my children and my husband in this journey. However, I'm still grieving. There's still a lot of parts in this journey of autism motherhood that I'm still grieving, or perhaps that I wish were a certain way, but they're not. And that's okay. You're allowed to cry over the hard parts and still love your child or your children if you have more than one with your whole heart. That is okay. That is valid. Welcome to the Uniquely Wired podcast. I'm your host, Nani, and I'm so glad you decided to check this episode out, especially if you are an autism mom. Okay, so listen, if you're not an autism mom, go ahead and share this with an autism mom who's in your life, or just an autism mom that you know that needs to be encouraged, that needs to be uplifted, because this episode, I believe, is going to bless their life and it's really going to encourage them. Um, so, the reason I'm doing this is because, of course, it is the week of Mother's Day. And y'all, I cannot believe we are getting ready to celebrate Mother's Day. Like, it's crazy. We are already almost halfway through this year and it's just flying by like nobody's business. I cannot believe it. And so I am recording this episode the week of Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the beautiful moms out there, especially my autism moms and really all my special needs moms. Um, and I really hope and pray that you have the most amazing day and that you feel loved, seen, cared for, um, you know, understood, because you should feel those things. And really every day you should feel that. But life. And so, yeah, and if you're listening to this after Mother's Day, I hope that you had a wonderful Mother's Day weekend because you deserve it. And so, this episode, I really just want to encourage you. It's going to be super quick and just straight to the point. So, whether you're listening to me, while you're in your kitchen, washing your dishes, or loading up the dishwasher, because listen, y'all, let me tell you something. I thank God for dishwashers. Okay. And I thank God my husband fixed ours because it had broke down for a little bit. And I'm so thankful he came through because listen, load up, I just loaded up my dishwasher before I started doing this episode. So listen, shout out to the dishwashers out there and those that make them. Um, but yeah, whether you're doing that, whether you're washing clothes, whether you are in your car driving, whether you're in your lunch break at work, whatever it is that you're doing while you're listening to this, I want you to take a pause, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I want you to receive this love. I want you to receive this encouragement from the deepest parts in my heart, because it's really coming from my heart. And of course, I'm looking at my notes because if not, I'm going to lose track of it all. Okay. So, ADHD in full effect. So, listen, you deserve to be celebrated. Okay. You deserve to be celebrated. And I want to start off by saying that you're not just a mom, you're a warrior. That's right. Listen, being a mom is already a full time, heart stretching, soul deep calling. But being an autism mom, okay, that's motherhood with layers. And I'm talking about a lot of layers. And you're not just managing routines, you're decoding behaviors. You're advocating in IEP meetings. You're learning therapies, because let me tell you, I have never felt so confident in being able to do a whole speech therapy session by myself with my kids or any kid. Like, I feel like I've learned so much in these past few years with my kids getting therapy. It's crazy. Like, I mean, I watch their occupational therapist, I watch the speech therapist. Like, you just learn so much from them, especially when you are present and you are in the therapies and you're involved, because this is why it's very important to be an involved parent. Um, so listen, managing meltdowns, adjusting to sensory needs, and keeping calm when the world doesn't understand. And yet, look at you. Girl, look at you, look at me. Like we out here doing the thing. We doing the thing, okay? We are doing it. You are loving your child fiercely in a world that isn't always built for them. And that is the truth. And me and you know that. And so, if no one, okay, has told you lately, you are doing an incredible job. Yes, you are. Even on the days you feel like you're failing, even on the days you feel like you're behind on things, behind on appointments, behind on, you know, therapies, whatever it is. Even when you cry behind the bathroom door or in your car, I cry a lot in my car and while showering. Even when dinner is frozen, nuggets, fries, or waffles, and there are toys on the floor, you're showing up. And that matters more than you know. And I feel, to touch a little bit on that, um, there is so much pressure from society for us mothers, um, mothers in general, but I feel especially for autism moms, there's such a pressure because, we are pressured to make sure that we are getting our kids whatever it is that they need, whether it's therapy, whether it's a specialist, doctor's visit, whatever it is, we are pressured from society to get that done. People in this world have such high expectation for mothers. And it's crazy because I'm like, dude, like we're not perfect. We're going to make mistakes. We are. And so, I really want to remind you, and I can't stress that enough, that you are doing the best that you can. You are showing up as the mother your child needs. You may not be showing up as the mother that maybe they want you to be or they want you to show up as, but you are showing up as the mother that they need. And that is more than enough, mom. And one thing I have learned in this journey, because I've learned a lot of things in this autism motherhood journey, but one thing I've learned, it's that it is okay to grieve and celebrate at the same time. I'm going to say that again. It is okay to grieve and celebrate at the same time. I feel like Mother's Day can stir a lot of emotions, and really a lot of holidays can do that. But emotions such as joy, love, pride, but also grief, weariness, and even guilt. And y'all, let me tell you that guilt is a sucker. Okay? Guilt sucks. It really do. It really do. It really does. Anyways, y'all understood what I was trying to say. This is live, y'all, okay? Listen, maybe you're grieving the motherhood you thought you would have. Maybe you're tired of seeing filter images of perfect families, and I'm doing the quotations because nobody's perfect. Maybe you wish more people saw how hard you're working, but I want to remind you today, you're allowed to grieve and still be grateful. I'm going through that. And as a matter of fact, I go through that a lot. Like, I'm so grateful to God and just how far He's brought me and my children and my husband in this journey. However, I'm still grieving. There's still a lot of parts in this journey of autism motherhood that I'm still grieving, or perhaps that I wish were a certain way, but they're not. And that's okay. You're allowed to cry over the hard parts and still love your child or your children if you have more than one with your whole heart. That is okay. That is valid. You're allowed to need help. You're allowed to rest. And most of all, you're allowed to be human. Because let's be real, nobody's perfect on this earth. We are going to make mistakes, mom. We are going to fail our children. We're going to because we're human. That's just the way God created us. Like, we're going to fall, but this is why we need Him. See, if we were perfect, we wouldn't need God. We wouldn't need His help. But because we're imperfect, we need His help. We need to lean on Him so we can be strengthened and we can move forward and keep doing the best that we can and showing up as our best self for our children. So again, you're allowed to be human. Period. I approve this message. I approve this message. So you are allowed to be human. And so this is the thing. You are not a robot. You're not a therapist. You're not a superhero in disguise. You know what you are? You're a mother, a real one. Okay? Not a cartoon one, not one that's on TV. No, you're a real mother, made out of flesh and bone. One who loves deeply and shows up imperfectly and walks a very sacred road. And here's another thing, your love is enough. Your love is enough. And why do I say this? Because if you're anything like me, then you have probably wondered, am I doing enough? Like, am I showing up for my husband the way I'm supposed to? Am I showing up for my children the way I'm supposed to? Am I taking them to the right specialists, to the right doctors? Am I giving them the right food? Like, we are constantly wondering these things as mothers because, again, we're human. We're human. And so, you see therapists, specialists, and experts who all seem to know what your child needs. But let's pause really quick. No one, and I mean no one, okay, knows your child the way you do. The therapist might be with them for maybe an hour session or less. The teacher may be with them for part of the day. But at the end of the day, you carry that baby. You know that baby. You know their needs. You know their wants. You know what cools them in the middle of a meltdown. You know what keeps them calm. You know what helps them self-regulate. You know your child. No one does. Like the therapist, the specialist, the doctor, the teacher, they only know a part of your child. They don't know your child as a whole. They may get to know them, right? And, I do believe they do help us as mothers, right? These teachers, these therapists. Oh, hey, I think this will help them. And when we do try that suggestion that they're giving us, it tends to help, it tends to work. But at the end of the day, you know your child best. And so your love, your presence, your patience, those things are enough. We don't need the latest sneakers of the year. We don't need to buy them the most fancy tablet or iPad for them to watch videos in. They don't need the fancy TV. They don't need the fancy bed. No, what they need is your love and for you to be present and for you to understand them and nurture them. That's it. That's more than enough. And so, yes, I'm not saying the resources don't matter, but relationship matters more. And I'm going to leave that right there. And you as the mom, are the safest place your child knows. So, to end this episode, um, this Mother's Day, I want you to release the pressure to be everything because you can be everything. Just be you. That's the mom your child needs, okay? Not the Pinterest mom. And let me tell you, I love me some Pinterest, but I would never be the moms that maybe we see on Pinterest and they're constantly like, listen, and I create boards all the time, okay? I love me some Pinterest, but I want to be me. I get inspiration because there's nothing wrong with getting inspiration. But that's not who we fully are, right? We're not the perfect advocate because we're not. We're just going to try our best to make sure our child is getting what they need and getting their needs met. So just be you, loving, learning, and growing, because that's what we're doing in this motherhood journey. We are learning, we're growing as we go, like we say. We are trying our best. And so I just want to end this episode with saying that you are doing sacred work. You really are. This is ministry. This is a calling. And God has created you and equipped you for this. Yes, as crazy as it may sound. One thing I tell my community of, in my ministry is that, you know, this world, like God never said in his word that it was going to be a perfect world, peaches and cream, like that this was going to be perfect or that we were never going to experience trouble. In fact, it says that we are going to suffer. We are going to face trouble. But his promise is to take heart because he has overcome the world. And so I lean on that and I trust God's promises and his word and what he's promising me and my family. And that helps me to move forward. That helps me to be the mother that I need to be for my children. And you may not get flowers or cards or the day off, but know this: God sees you, and so do I. And you were made for your child, and your child was made for you. God didn't make a mistake, and I say this all the time: God did not make a mistake. You are perfectly placed, even in your imperfections. So celebrate today. If you're listening on Mother's Day or even after, celebrate yourself, celebrate how far you've come in your motherhood journey as an autism mom. If you can't do it hourly, celebrating yourself, do it in your heart. Take a deep breath and do this. Actually, I want you to put your hand over your chest, right? And I want you to feel that heartbeat. Do you feel that? That's love. That's strength. That's you. And so I know that this episode was short and straight to the point, but I really want you, mom, to feel the love, to feel seen, to feel understood, to feel known, because you are all of those things. And you're not just a mom. Again, you're a warrior. You are a woman. God has created you for such a time as this. And so if this episode was encouraging, again, send this to a mom that you know who's an autism mom who may be in a season where she really needs this encouragement and this reminder. And the beautiful part is that this is not just for Mother's Day. I feel like you can listen to this episode at any given time of your day. Whenever you're feeling down, save this episode and come back and revisit, okay? So listen, if you are listening to this before Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day. And I pray and hope that you have a wonderful time with your loved ones. And if you're listening to it after, again, I hope that you had a wonderful time because you deserve to be celebrated. Okay. Even if you take a walk, even if you do some eye shopping, I call it eye shopping when I go and I'm just, well, window shopping really, but I'm just looking. I'm buying with my eyes. I'm not buying with my hands or my wallet. Okay. I'm just taking a stroll, feeling good, taking some time. That's okay. That's good for your mental health. Um, so anyways, love you, mom. Please know that I say this from the bottom of my heart, and I really pray that this episode blessed you and encouraged you. So I'll see you again on another episode of the Uniquely Wired podcast.